So I didn't make it all the way to Canada. If you've been following along, I set course for a month-long or a couple-week-long backpacking trip to Canada, starting in Washington about a week ago, and was going out there with Addison's disease and osteoporosis and the new condition Mulder-Barkman syndrome, with all my meds, with all my paperwork, just in case anything happened. And I went out with a very good friend of mine who knows how to help me manage my Addison's and is very aware of my condition, and with one of her good friends. And we were ready just to take it a day at a time as we go climbing along the PCT. And I lasted 4 days. The intention was much longer and that I was much stronger. However, my body crumbled. But I want to say on the positive side that it wasn't Addison's or Mulder-Barkman syndrome or any other chronic condition that took me down. My body, you can see, let's see. I busted both my knees, which you kind of need when you're climbing mountains. And it was totally a normal injury that happens to people who are not very strong. Normally, I train really, really hard before I go backpacking every year, and this year I didn't do my training as well as I normally do because we had so many other things going on, and I just was constantly battling all these other ailments, and so I trained every day, but not to the same caliber that was needed. In addition to that, also, these mountains, this peak where I came in was some of the hardest climbs on the PCT that any of the through hikers had seen so far. So it was the steep climbs and the constant steep climbs and the constant declines that are what blew my knees out. And when I say blew my knees out, it was my left knee that went out first on the first day after, 12 miles, 14 miles of climbing up and down. And I mean repetitive up and down peaks of elevation gain all the way up to 6,000 feet, which is incredibly high, and I want to talk about elevation in a little bit. But I received a twinging on the outside of my left knee, and twinging, I would say the best way to describe this pain was like a knife lodged in the side of my leg that was burning, and any movement that I made would agitate the knife. So if I kept that leg still or straight, I could feel it, but it wasn't like churning. So the left leg went out first, and so because of that, I started compensating with my right. And so by day 2, both knees were completely horrible. Mobility was pretty limited, and I am not exaggerating when I say mobility is pretty limited. And I still had about 12 peaks to climb, and basically our adventure adjusted and changed. We did still hike 14 miles the first 2 days, 17 miles the second day, and the third day, and then on the fourth day we ended up doing 20 miles to get me off the mountain. We were supposed to have one more day on, but both me and my friend knew my body wasn't going to make it, and that I was getting worse every day. I could barely move. I was on such a cocktail of medication, and for those that know me or follow, medicine is not my jam. I take my steroids. I do what I need to do without any steroid guilt, but I try not to take painkillers or anything like that because I don't want additional things in my body, but that's just my personal experience. While I was on this mountain, in order to get me down without dying, I would say, of pain, was a cocktail of about 10 Aleve a day, 6 Tylenol, and I was stress dosing from my typical steroid intake is about 20 varies, milligrams a day, and I was taking about 65, 70. And when any of those wore off, it was very apparent. The pain was bad, not exaggerating. And when we got down, both her and I wept and cried of joy and excitement, and we both were like, we didn't know if you were going to get off that mountain. It was heartbreaking, obviously. I was supposed to hike for the next couple weeks, go all the way to Canada. Always been one of my dreams to be a thru hiker. And I got many thru hiker experiences this week. But I gotta be honest, as someone with chronic illness and someone with a super, I guess, not as strong body as thru hikers, like, I don't have what it takes to be a thru hiker. Those guys are total badasses, and I respect the hell out of them. And it just helped me reframe my passions and my dreams, and I learned so much about my body this week. And I think maybe what I'll do is I'll share a separate video about what I learned, because I learned quite a bit about Addison's and backpacking, which I've not quite learned as much the other times I've been backpacking. And I know there's maybe not as many Addisonian backpackers who verbalize their experience, or at least none that I have found. So I definitely want to share exactly what happened to my body due to Addison's, because there were some changes. It wasn't my downfall. There were some changes though. So I'll share that in another video. I just wanted to make a quick one updating that I'm back. I'll be a little bit more present now. I'm just on the rest and mend. There's really nothing else I can do. Did not go to a doctor. As many of you know, doctors, we're there too often. So I don't feel it's that necessary yet. I'm still hobbling. I have officially weaned off of pain medicine, slowly tapering down my steroids now. I've been off trail for about Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 5 days. It's not enough time just to rest. So I'm just going to continue to keep my legs up, elevated, iced, and read all of the Harry Potter books again, because that's my jam. But yeah, just updating. I'm back. Hiking kicked my ass. Not my Addison's. Don't give up on your dreams. We can still have them. We can still adjust them and tweak them, but we have to have the right preparation. So this was definitely my own fault for not being prepared. And to be fair, like all of the other hikers that I saw were like, you're insane for joining in on this section, which was not the initial plan, but that's where I ended up starting due to the Malda-Barkman syndrome having to postpone my trip. But I'm back and I have more things to share, and I'm really, really excited about it, and I'm ready to be present with you all. But as always, thank you guys so much for being here. Light and love, all the spoons, and please share your experiences, or we can commiserate in a life hilarious way of what happened to you and your adventure. Share what's going on, because it's all a learning lesson. Yeah, you guys are great.